He picks up his phone to check the time. It is 2:14. He sees a notification. A friend sent a link. He does not open it. He puts the phone down. He goes back to the paragraph he was writing. He rereads the last sentence. He rereads it again. He had a thought, a specific thought, the exact next thing the paragraph needed, and it was right there a moment ago. Now it is gone. He does not know where it went. He does not know it cost him anything. It cost him 90 seconds to find his place, and it will cost him another 11 minutes to get back to the depth he was at before he picked up the phone. He checked the time. It was free. Except it was not. This is the attention tax. It is the cost your brain pays every time your focus is pulled from one thing to another, even briefly, even voluntarily, even when the interruption lasts less than 5 seconds. You did not agree to pay it. Nobody told you the price. It is just subtracted, automatically, from the budget of focus you started the day with. And unlike money, you cannot check the balance. You do not get a receipt. You just feel tired at 6 o'clock and cannot figure out why, because you were busy all day, and busy should mean productive, and yet the thing you sat down to do at 9 in the morning is still not done. The tax works through a mechanism so simple it almost sounds like it should not matter. Every time your brain switches from one task to another, it does not arrive instantly at the new task. It drags residue from the old one. The email you glanced at is still being processed somewhere in the back while you try to return to the spreadsheet. Your eyes are on the spreadsheet. Your attention is split between the spreadsheet and the half-read email and the faint social pressure of not having replied yet. This residue has a name in cognitive science. It is called attention residue, and it does not clear in a moment. It lingers. It takes minutes. Sometimes it takes the rest of the hour. Each switch feels instant. The cost is never instant. That is the gap between what you feel and what you pay. And that gap is where the tax hides. Sophie Leroy at the University of Minnesota published a series of experiments in 2009 that measured exactly this. She gave people a task, interrupted them with a second task, and then brought them back to the first one. She found that even when people had finished the interrupting task completely, their performance on the original task was measurably worse. The residue from the second task clung to their thinking. Their answers were slower. Their accuracy dropped. And here is the part that mattered most. The people did not know. They reported feeling fine. They felt like they had returned to the task normally. The tax was being paid, and the taxpayer did not feel the withdrawal. Gloria Mark at the University of California followed knowledge workers through their actual workdays and found that the average time spent on any single task before switching was 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Not 30 minutes, not 15, 3 minutes and 5 seconds. And after each interruption, it took an average of 23 minutes and 15 seconds to return to the same depth of focus. 23 minutes to recover from a 3-minute interruption. The math does not work. It was never supposed to. There are people who do not pay this tax. Or more precisely, there are people who pay a fraction of it. A writer in a cabin with no internet connection pays almost nothing. A surgeon in an operating room pays almost nothing. Not because their brains are different, but because the environment around them has been stripped of tax collectors. No notifications, no pings, no red dots, no buzzing in their pocket, no second screen, no open tab with a number on it that changes. The tax is not generated by your brain. It is generated by your environment, and your environment has been designed, deliberately, by people whose revenue depends on how many times you switch. Every app on your phone makes money when you open it. Opening it requires switching to it. Switching costs you 23 minutes of depth. The app does not pay that cost. You do. The app collects the benefit. You pay the price. That is the structure of a tax. One party benefits. Another party pays. The two parties are not the same. You paid it this morning. You woke up and checked your phone before your feet hit the floor. Not because anything was urgent, because the screen was there and your hand knew where it was, and the pull was automatic and small enough to feel like nothing. That check cost you the first uninterrupted minutes of your day, the minutes when your brain was fresh and had not yet been fragmented. You paid it at your desk when you kept your email open in a second tab while trying to do focused work, and every time a new message appeared, the tab title changed and your eyes flicked to it for less than a second, and your brain registered the sender and made a micro-decision about urgency, and that micro-decision was extracted from the same budget you were using to think. You paid it in the meeting when your phone vibrated and you did not pick it up, but you thought about picking it up, and the thought was enough. You paid it at dinner when you set your phone face down on the table because you read that helps, and it does help a little, but a study at the University of Texas found that the mere presence of a smartphone on the table, even face down, even silenced, even off, reduced the cognitive capacity of the person sitting next to it, not the phone's owner. The person sitting next to it. The tax is so aggressive it collects from bystanders. The average person picks up their phone between 80 and 96 times a day. Each pickup is a switch. Each switch carries a cost. Some of those costs are 3 seconds of surface-level distraction that barely register. Some of them blow a 20-minute hole in a block of deep focus that took an hour to build. You cannot tell which is which beforehand. You cannot tell which is which afterward either, because the tax does not leave a mark. It does not feel like losing something. It feels like being busy. Being busy and being productive are not the same state, but they feel identical from the inside. And the difference between them is the tax. The busy person switches 150 times a day and accomplishes a fraction of what the productive person accomplishes in a quiet room with a closed door and no second screen. Same hours, same effort, same intelligence, different tax rate. The thing about a tax is that it is not optional and it is not personal. You did not choose to pay it. You are not paying it because you are weak or undisciplined or addicted or lazy. You are paying it because you live in an environment that has been engineered to collect it from you continuously, in amounts too small to notice, at a frequency too high to resist, and the engineering gets better every quarter because the engineers are measured on how often you switch, and they are very, very good at their jobs. The tax is structural. It is built into the shape of the tools you use, the workplaces you sit in, the devices you carry. You can reduce it. You can put your phone in another room. You can close your email. You can block notifications. But you cannot eliminate it, because the collectors are not just outside you. The habit of checking is now inside you. Your hand reaches for the phone before your brain decides to reach. The tax has trained its own collection agent and stationed it in your own nervous system. There is a number that sits at the center of all of this, and most people never calculate it. Take the number of times you switch tasks in a day. Multiply it by the average recovery time. Subtract that from your waking hours. What remains is the time you actually spend at full depth. For most people, the number is between 90 minutes and 2 hours, out of 16 waking hours. The rest is residue, recovery, and switching. The rest is the tax. You paid it while reading this.